Hello students, I Amol Sharma once again welcome you all in DSCJ Home Classes, a digital initiative by Directorate of School Education Jammu. Students, today we are going to study another important topic of English grammar, that is preposition and its rules along with its use. Student, I have made this topic for class 8 through 10. It is going to be very interesting topic, so you are requested to pay attention to this topic. First of all, let us see what preposition is. Preposition meaning a word used to link nouns and pronouns or phrases to other words within a sentence. A preposition is a word or set of words that indicates location, like in, near, beside, on top of, or some other relationship between a noun or pronoun and other parts of the sentence, like about, after, besides, instead of, in accordance with. A preposition isn't a preposition unless it goes with a related noun or pronoun called the object of the preposition. Students, you might have heard about the words like in, at, on, to, into, by, of. Students, all these words are the preposition. But remember, a preposition is not a preposition unless it goes with a related noun or pronoun. And that related noun and pronoun is called the object of the preposition. Now, let us see the rules of preposition. Before going to the types of preposition, let us see the rules of the preposition. Very first rule is a preposition cannot be followed by a verb. Verb placed immediately after preposition must be in gerund form. Now, what gerund is? Gerund is verb plus ing. Like I swim in a river. So here swim is the word which shows some action. So it is the verb. Swimming is a good exercise. Now I have used ing along with the swim. Now swimming has become a noun. Swimming is a good exercise. So when we add ing to verb, sometimes it becomes a noun. That verb plus ing is called as gerund. So after the preposition, you cannot directly use a verb. The verb used must be in gerund form. Now, for example, he prevented me from drinking cold water. So here, from is the preposition. And after that, there is the verb drink, but it has ing along with it. So it is the gerund. So he prevented me from drinking cold water. The verb must be in gerund form after the preposition. So here in this sentence, from is the preposition and the verb is in the gerund form. In second example, he insists on trying again. So again here, on is the preposition and try plus ing. It is the gerund form of verb. So this is the rule that verb placed immediately after preposition must be in gerund form. So this is the first rule. Now rule number 2. When object of the preposition is an interrogative pronoun like what, who, whom, which, where, etc., the preposition usually takes and or front position. Means when the object of the preposition is an interrogative pronoun, that is, it may be what, who, whom, then the preposition, whatever preposition it is either at the front position or at the end position. Now, for example, what are you thinking of? So here the object of the preposition is what. It is the interrogative pronoun. Therefore, the preposition of is at the end. So whenever there is the interrogative pronoun as the object of the preposition, then the preposition is either at the end position or at the front position. Who were you talking to? So here again the preposition to is at the end position. By which train did you come? Again the subject of the preposition, that is which, is the interrogative pronoun. So here the preposition is at the front position. For whom was the instructions given? So in all these sentences, the preposition is either at the end position or at the front position. It used to be thought as ungrammatical to end a sentence with a preposition, but now it is well accepted. Then we have rule number 3. When object of the preposition is a relative pronoun, and what that relative pronoun, it is that if the subject of the preposition is a relative pronoun, that the preposition takes end position. In rule number 2, we discussed that if the object of the preposition is an interrogative pronoun, then the preposition may be at the front position or at the end position. But when the relative pronoun that is the object of the preposition, then preposition takes end position. Now, for example, here is the magazine that you asked for. Here the object of the preposition that, it is the relative pronoun. Therefore, the preposition for is at the end position. That is being used here, that is referring to the magazine. So here the object of the preposition is the relative pronoun that, therefore the preposition is at the end position. This is the dish that she is fond of. Again, the object of the preposition is that for which the preposition is being used, therefore the preposition is at the end position. Then moving to the rule number 4, when object of the preposition is infinitive, that is to plus first form of verb, the preposition is placed immediately after infinitive. Now, for example, this is a good hotel to stay at. So here in this sentence, at is the preposition and to plus first form of verb, that is stay. To plus stay is the infinitive. So whenever there is an infinitive, the preposition will be used, it will be placed after the infinitive. So to infinitive, to stay, and then preposition. I need a pencil to write with. Again, the preposition is with. It is placed after the infinitive, that is to plus first form of verb. So remember, when the object of the preposition is infinitive, the preposition is placed after the infinitive. Then moving to the next rule, that is rule number 5, I have divided it into 2 parts. First is the preposition like, means similar to or similarly to. It should be followed by an object of the preposition, that is noun, pronoun, or a noun phrase, not by a subject and verb. Means you should avoid like when a verb is involved. So when the preposition like, you need to use the preposition like, it should be followed by the object of the preposition, not by the subject and verb. You should avoid verb. Now, for example, you look like your mother, means you look similar to her. Mother is the object of preposition in this preposition, that is like. The mother is the object of the preposition like. It would be incorrect to say you look like your mother does, because in this sentence there is mother mean noun and does is the verb. So you should not write the preposition like if it is followed by a subject and verb. So whenever you are using the preposition like, it should be followed by the object of the preposition, that is noun, pronoun, and noun phrase, but not by the verb. Avoid like when a verb is involved. Instead of like, rule number 5B, instead of like, use as if, as though, or the way when a following comparison with a subject and verb. If you want to write the subject and verb, instead of using the preposition like, you should use as if, or as though. Now, for example, do like I ask. Do like I ask. No one would say do similarly to I ask. So it is incorrect that do like I ask. So correct word will be do as I ask, because in first sentence which is incorrect. After the subject, you have used the verb. So when you use like as a preposition, so it is incorrect. It would be incorrect to use the verb after the subject. So it is better to use as instead of like. So correct way will be do as I ask. Again, in another example, you look like you are angry. Again, after the like, you are using the verb are. So it would be better to use as if instead of like. So correct sentence will be you look as if you are angry, or you look as though you are angry. So if you want to use verb along with the subject, it is better to use as if, or as though instead of like as a preposition. But if you want to use like as a preposition, so it should be followed by the object of the preposition, and that object of the preposition should be noun, pronoun, or a noun phrase. Then rule number 6, the preposition of should never be used in place of the helping verb have. Means you cannot replace of with helping verb have. Now I have given two sentences, one is correct and another one is incorrect. I should have done it, so it is the correct one. I cannot replace have with the of, so incorrect, it would be incorrect to say I should have done it. So you cannot replace have, you cannot replace of with have. Rule number 7, use into rather than in to express motion towards something. Use preposition in to tell the location. I mean, whenever you want to express the motion that is from one place to another, it is better to use into rather than in, because in is used to tell the location. Now, for example, I swam in the pool because I am already into the pool. So I would use the preposition in. Another example, I walked into the house means I am outside. Now I went inside. That's why I used I walked into the house. If I had been already inside the house, then I will use I walked in the house. So from outside to inside, you need to use into. Next example, I dived in the water. So you are diving from outside to inside. So you cannot use the preposition in. So correct will be I dived into the water. So because here we are expressing some motion from outside to inside. That's why instead of using the preposition in, we should use the preposition into. Similarly, throw it in the trash. So better it would be throw it into the trash, because again you are showing some kind of motion. So whenever you are showing some kind of motion, so it is used, into is used than in. In is used, I already told you that in is used to tell the location. So I think these rules are clear to you. Now we will move to the next part of the preposition, that is the types of preposition. Now we have various types of preposition. The very first is preposition of direction. The purpose of these type of preposition are, number one, to show the way in which something is done, and number two, to express the direction of something. So in order to show the way or to express the direction of something, it is you will use the preposition of direction. Now, there are some words which are used as the preposition of direction, like above, higher, relative to something, across, along, among, around, at, behind. So these all are the preposition of direction. Now let us use them in the sentences, then it would be clear to you. Now some appropriate preposition of direction are their examples. Look to the right and you will see your destination. Mean here the person is telling you the direction, mean you need to turn your head to the right. So the word to here is showing you the direction. Look to the right, mean you need to turn your head to the right, then you will see your destination. So here to is the direction, preposition of direction. Meet me at the flower shop. Again, I am telling someone the direction of my meeting point, that you should meet me at the flower shop. So here at is the preposition of direction. The dog climbed onto the bed. Again, I am telling the direction of climbing of dog, that in which direction he is climbing, that is onto the bed. So here the word onto is the direct preposition of direction. The next type is the preposition of time. Now, according to English grammar rule, these words are used to refer to time in various aspects, not just like the 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 10 a.m., 5 p.m., not like, but it will refer the various aspects of time. Now, like on, in, at, since, ago, during, before, all these are the preposition of time. I have given their meanings. You can check it out. Now, let's take their examples also. So number one, we arrived on Monday. So here the word on is telling us the time of the arrival, time of our arrival. So when did we arrive? On Monday. So on is the preposition of time. The seminar starts at 10 a.m. Again, at will tell us the time, that when will the seminar begin. The company was founded in the 20th century. So again, the word in, that is preposition of time. It is telling us the founding date. They got married on Friday, the 5th June. Again, the word on is the preposition of time. So students, keep in mind that the same word in, at, on, there are a number of prepositions which can be used for both direction as well as for time as well as of place. So you need not to be confused with them. Next is the preposition of place. These words indicates position of the object in the sentence. So again, number of preposition of place are there: in, at, on, off, by, beside, under, over. I have given their meaning also. Now let's look at their examples also. Some appropriate preposition examples are: we live in India. So in is telling us the place, that where do we live. So in tells us that in India, in is the preposition of place. There is a cat under the table. Again, the word under, it tells us the position of cat, that where it is. So it is the preposition of place. I hung my coat behind the door. Again, behind is telling us the position of coat being hung. So it is a preposition of place. A path above the lake. Above is the preposition of place. So I think from these examples, it is clear to you that what are the various types of preposition. Now let us see the use of some important preposition in our day-to-day life. I have mentioned their rules as well. So very first is at, in, and on. So I have used the pair or the three triads as a preposition. So let us first compare the three preposition, that is at, in, and on. At, in, on. As I told you that the same preposition can be used as the preposition of time or preposition of place. So let us first use this preposition in reference of time. At is used for a precise time, that is for a particular time. Like doctor will come at 10 a.m. That 10 a.m. is his time of arrival. So at is the preposition of time. In is used for months, years, centuries, and long periods. For particular time, we use the at, but for a periods of time, long periods, or for the months and the years, we will use the preposition in. I was born in November. On is used for days and dates. He will come on Monday. He born on 2nd of October. I was born on 4th of November. So on is used for days and dates. So this is the use of at, in, on in reference of time. Now let us see their use in reference of place. Now at is used for a point. When we are talking about a particular position, then we will use the preposition at. He is standing at the end of the road. When I am saying that he is standing on the road, that may be any position on the road. But when I am talking about the particular position, that he is at the beginning of the road, at the end of the road, in the middle of the road. So when I am talking about the particular position, then we will use the preposition at. In is used for an enclosed space. For example, my pen is in his bag. So what enclosed space is here? Bag. So my pen, where my pen is, it is inside the bag. That's why we use the preposition in when something is inside the enclosed space. Whereas on is used for a surface. Now, when something is lying on the surface, we will use the another preposition, that is the on. So cat is sleeping on the table. So this is the use in reference of place. Now, students, we usually get confused with two more prepositions, that is above and over. Now, on, above, and over, in Hindi, we usually say that all these have the same meaning, that is, हम जैसे कहते हैं कि ऊपर, on का मतलब भी ऊपर, above का भी ऊपर आ गया, over का भी ऊपर आ गया. But the main confusion is with above and over. Now, above represents above represents a place higher than a person or an object, whereas over represents something that is directly upward the another person or an object. Above indicates location only, whereas over indicates location as well as motion. You can say that there must be some space between the two objects while using the preposition above. For example, when you are comparing two objects, there must be some space between these objects. One should be higher and other should be lower. But for over, space may be there or it may not be there. Now, for example, we rented the room above our clinic, means the room is at lower level and the clinic is at higher level. So we have used the preposition above. The dog jumped over the wall. The investigation will be over when the official finds the culprit. So in these two sentences, we have used the preposition over. There is the space and there may not be, but they both shows the location as well as the motion. So students, in general, we can say that we will use in very easy way, or you can say in our tricks, we use the on for two objects when one thing is lying on the surface, means they both are touching with each other. We will use the above for those when two things are compared, one is at lower level and another is at higher level, we will use the preposition above. But remember that the both the things should be fixed. When I say their scenery is hanging above this window, means they both are at the fixed position, and we will use the preposition over. Then one is higher and another in lower, but they are not in fixed position, they are moving over. Now, for example, a crow is flying over the roof. No doubt, crow is at higher level, but it is not fixed, so we will use the preposition over. No doubt it is not a rule, but it is just a trick. Let's move to the next part, that is the use of at, into. First, we have discussed their use as a preposition of place and as a preposition of time. Other than these, they do have different uses also. At shows stationary position or existing state, while in shows the movement. For example, she is at home, mean she is stationed at home, she is resting at home. The train is in motion. So here something is in motion, that's why we have used the preposition in. At is used for small place while in is used for bigger place. So for example, he lives at Alwar in Rajasthan. So Alwar is in Rajasthan. Comparatively, Alwar is a smaller place and Rajasthan is a bigger place. That's why we have used the at with smaller place and in with the bigger place. A temple is situated at Madurai in Chennai. For smaller place, we use the at, and for bigger place, we use the in. I live at Bandlav in Jammu. So Bandlav is a smaller place and Jammu is a bigger place. So I use the preposition at with smaller and in with a bigger place. Next is At is used for point of time and in is used for period of time. Again, the particular point and a period of time. The train will arrive at 6. I am here referring the point of time. He will you in the morning. So here I am not referring a particular point, not referring a point of time. I am referring the period of time. That's why I have used the preposition in. Then in and into. In shows the existing state of things while into shows the movement. They are also, we use, students also get confused with in and into just like above and over. So remember, while showing some kind of motion, you are expressing some motion, then you should use the preposition into. And when you are showing something already inside enclosed space, existing state, then use the preposition in. For example, he jumped into the river. That is showing some motion from outside into the river. That's why we use the preposition into. There are 3 students in the class. They are already inside the class. Suppose they are in the ground and they are going to the class, then we will use that there are the 3 students are going into the class from outside to inside, but they are already inside, so there are 3 students in the class. In can also be used as adverb come in, that is enter, get in, mean inside the bus or into the train. Then the next is to and into. Sometimes it may also, we also get confused with to and into. In that, if you are telling something the direction of a destination or comparing something or with indirect object, then for add or in order to, then we will use the preposition to. Like in the direction of, turn to the right, destination, I am going to Jaipur, and destination is Jaipur. Compared with, I am comparing something, prefer hockey to saucer. So when you are comparing something, then again to with indirect object, please give it to me. So it is something which is not mentioned here. In order to, mean the purpose, we went to the store to buy soap. So for showing some purpose, in order to with indirect object comparing a destination or direction, you use the preposition to. And from outside to inside and the change of condition, we will use the preposition into. We stepped into the room, the boy changed into a man. The next pair is on and onto. On can be used for both existing position and movement. For example, he was sitting on his back. It is the existing position. And snow fell on the hills. Here is the movement, that is from sky, snow is falling on the hills. So for existing as well as for movement, you can use on. On can also be used as adverb just like the as go in, go on, come on. So these on here, it is used as an adverb. While onto is used where there is a movement involving a change of level. When you are changing a level from higher to lower, from lower to higher, then we will use the preposition onto. People climbed onto their roofs. I mean, from ground they are climbing to their roof, so they are changing their level. That's why we have used the preposition onto. He lifted her onto the table, from ground to the table. So changing the level. So here the preposition is onto. Then is the with and by. With is used for instruments and by is used for agents. For example, the snake was killed by him with a stick. So here, agent of killing is he and instrument is stick. So we used with preposition by with agents and with so with the instrument. The latter was written by Suresh with the pencil. Now, students, by can also be used to show the nearness of something, just like come and sit by me. So here, by means nearness of place, that you come and sit near me. His house is by the canal. That is, his house is near the canal. So in order to show the nearness, you can also use the preposition by. And one more is the miscellaneous use. Whenever you need to ask time to someone, so you should use the preposition by. What is the time by your watch? You should not ask what is the time in your watch or what is the time on your watch. So what would be the correct sentence? What is the time by your watch? So correct use of preposition is the by while asking some time. Then since and for. Since and for, they both are used for past perfect present and past perfect continuous tense. while since is used for point of time and for is used for period of time. For example, it has been raining since 2 o'clock. So I am mentioning particular time. That's why I have used the preposition since. She has been cooking for 3 hours. So here the period of time is used. That's why the preposition for has been used. So for a particular time, you need to write the preposition since, and for a period of time, for preposition is used. Since can also be used as an adverb, like he left school in 1983. I haven't seen him since. Here seen is the verb and since is the adverb. So since can also be used as an adverb. It is 2 years since I last saw Tom. So saw is the verb and since is the adverb. So since can also be used as an adverb. Then next is the beside and besides. So we often get confused with beside and besides. They all together have different meaning. Do not confuse with beside and besides. Beside mean at the side of. For example, he was sitting beside Sarla. Mean he was sitting at the side of Sarla. Whereas besides mean in addition to or as well as. For example, he has a car besides a motorcycle. Mean he has a car in addition to a motorcycle. Mean he has both of them. So don't get confused with beside and besides. They all together have different meanings. Then next preposition is between and among. Between is normally used for two things or person, but among can be used for more than two person or things when we have no definite number in mind. Now, for example, he distributed his property between his two sons. Now, here the two persons are there. That's why we have used the preposition between. He distributed his property among the sons. Now, here in this sentence, there are more than two sons. That's why we have used the preposition among. He was happy to be among friends again. So again, more than two friends are there. That's why we have used the preposition among. So keep in mind that between is used for two person and among is used for more than two person. So students, I think all this topic is clear to you. I have explained myself very clearly to you. So in case you have any doubt, then you can contact me. Now you should practice and revise it at home, because I told you again and again that practice makes a man perfect. Thank you and have a nice day. All the very best.